Hey everyone, welcome back to another Beast in the Mesozoic review. Today we're taking a look at the 1/18 scale Protoceratops, hellenikorhinus, and Linheraptor. These are the last two figures I needed to review from this initial release of figures. The next load coming in is October. It's the Tyrannosaurs, well, the painted Tyrannosaur figures, and then I think like a month or so after that is the rest of wave one of the Tyrannosaurs. So it's nice to have these figures in between to tide us over until those big boys release. I was really looking forward to all these 1/18 scale figures, especially this Protoceratops right here. hellenikorhinus is a species of Protoceratops. I think it was named in 2001, and there's really no figures based on it. Most figures are based on the most common species, Protoceratops andrewsi. So yeah, it's pretty cool that David went the extra mile and made 8 other species of Protoceratops. Plus, you get a little bit more mileage of that mold by making another species. All you had to do was just resculpt the head. Now, if you'd like to pick up both of these figures, they retail for $24.99, but at the time of this review, they are still up for pre-order on Creative Beast Studios site for $21.99. There's another shipment coming in. Once that hits, those are going to ship out, and then it's going to be the regular retail price from now on. So if you want to save a couple bucks, the link down below to order these figures is in the description. So let's go over the package really quick before we crack these figures open. Let's adjust the camera and get a little bit higher up so we can take a look at all that beautiful artwork on the card. So on the Linheraptor, this is the same artwork that is on the 1/6 scale version of this figure. I always found this one very colorful. Like I said a couple times during these reviews, I only picked up 4 of the Raptor series. Just at the time when I was collecting, I think I was a little bit more into Transformers, and I just didn't want a lot of Raptor figures. They're really not my favorite genus of dinosaurs, but I now that I have this little one in hand, I might actually go back and pick up the 1/6 scale of this one because I really enjoy the color scheme. So you got the figure in the blister card right here. Spin around the back, you do have some facts about Linheraptor, and then on the Protoceratops right here, we do get some brand new artwork because this is a brand new species to the line, the Protoceratops hellenikorhinus. So you have some nice artwork of that Protoceratops on the sandstone. So this packaging is very collector friendly. So all you need to do is cut the tape in the back, and this will slide out. And let's take a look at this brand new artwork. Very, very well done. I'm assuming this right here in the corner is a Linheraptor deciding to attack it. That's why I'm reviewing both these figures, because both of them existed at the same time and are from the same formation. Spin around the back, you get a picture of the other 6 figures available in this assortment. And like I said, the packaging is very, very collector friendly. All you need to do is pop out this blister card and pop off the lid right here, and you can access your figures very easily. You can easily place them back in and put the card together and hang it up on your shelf. So yeah, really love this new style of packaging. And let's start with this 360-degree view of these two figures. Both look amazing. The paint job for such small figures is extremely well done. I absolutely love this new species of Protoceratops. It's just such a well done figure. I think it's my second favorite out of these 6 1/18 scale figures, right behind the Psittacosaurus. And I like how David chose which raptor species he was going to shrink down for the 1/18 scale, and he made them have some synergy with the species of ceratopsians that we have. So it's nice that this Linheraptor can pair with this Protoceratops hellenikorhinus, and also Psittacosaurus can go in this because they are from the same formation. Well, one of the 500 species of Psittacosaurus is from this formation. I'm not sure if Mongoliensis is from this one. My research is a little bit sketchy, but yeah, both figures turned out great. You can see the lightweight of the smaller Protoceratops makes for some nice dynamic posing. It's balancing beautifully on one foot. You have a little bit of a peg on that base, so you can get some pretty dynamic poses. You just mess around with them. They're very, very light figures, and yeah, I'm really, really happy with them. I'm so glad that they came, that they're finally out, and I think that $25 price point is just about right. You can definitely do a little bit of herd building without absolutely destroying your wallet. And now for some quick measurements. The Linheraptor is 4 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or just over 10 centimeters, and about 1 1/4 inches tall, depending on how you have it positioned, or just over 3 centimeters. So Linheraptor in real life was about 5.9 feet long, or 1.8 meters. So I'll put this figure perfectly in the 1/18 scale range. And let's just move Mr. Linheraptor off to the side. And next up is the Protoceratops. Protoceratops measures a nice 4¼ inches long, or 10.7 centimeters, and about 2 inches tall to the top of the frill, or just about 5 centimeters. So in real life, Protoceratops hellenikorhinus was up to 8.5 feet long, or 2.6 meters. So that means they'll put this in the 1/24 scale range. Like I said, it is up to 8.5 feet, so it could have been a little bit smaller, which would put this in the 1/18 scale range. So yeah, David's not going to sculpt an entirely different Protoceratops body just to give us a species. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with the new head sculpt. I'm not upset that he didn't make it, the full size of this figure. It would be nice to have it displayed next to the other Protoceratops to show how much bigger the species could get, but I'm just happy to have a different variant of Protoceratops. And now let's take a quick look at the bases that comes with each figure. The Protoceratops comes with a base with just this peg on it. You can peg one of its feet into it to get it into all sorts of neat poses. Like we saw earlier on the turntable, you can get a nice one-legged pose by pegging it in. This is the straight leg. On this side of the figure is the bent leg. You do get up here of each in the packaging. Let's get the camera to focus in on that. My camera absolutely hates these figures because they're so small. Now, only one straight leg and one bent leg has the peg hole. I think the reasoning behind that is just where the peg is. Kind of wish there was one on each side, just so we can have different, variations and poses on these bases, but really not a deal breaker. And for the Linheraptor, you do get a base with this little clamp for the front foot. Let's get my camera to focus in on that. You can clamp it down right here, and you can also pop it off, and we will talk about that wing that keeps popping off a little bit later. You do get this other clamp to have a jumping position. You just put that around the raptor and plug it into the peg hole. Just be very careful. I like to plug the raptor in on the clamp first and then plug it into the peg hole, because I already broke my Velociraptor base by pushing the raptor onto the clamp while I was in the peg, and it snapped off. So just be very, very careful with that. And I almost forgot, you do get alternate legs with the Linheraptor. You do get some nice bent legs, and you do get a pair of straight legs. You can see I have the bent legs on the Linheraptor right here. Is my camera having a stroke? I have no idea what's going on. Sometimes it gets so jumpy with these little figures. And here are the straight legs. Now let's take a closer look at Protoceratops hellenikorhinus. This is a nice new head sculpt on here. Really like how it turned out. Now the difference between hellenikorhinus and andrewsi is had a much wider frill, and you can see right here on top of the nasal area, you do have two horns sculpted in, and here is andrewsi. You can see major difference between both head sculpts. Let's get my camera to focus in on that. So yeah, really nice of David to take the time and sculpt another head to get a little bit mileage out of the small Protoceratops mold, and to give us some more Protoceratops variation. The eye is painted in yellow with a black pupil. The juggle horns is painted in white, and that's another trait of this species. They were much larger on hellenikorhinus than andrewsi. And then going to the beak, you get some more of that nice whitish coloration for the beak. Get some browns and whites and cream colors, blacks and greens. All the little knobs around the frill are all highlighted in yellow. Very, very nicely done. Opening the mouth up, you do have a little bit of paint inside the mouth and some teeth sculpted in, and man, what a face that is right there. Kind of wild looking. Going down to the body, get some more nice fine scale details. Has a very camo color scheme to it. You have some light gray for the knobs on its back, going all the way down to the tail. Front legs are nicely done. You get some black paint for the toe claws. Other side has a nice cream coat, nice wash over that bring out all that beautiful scale detail. You see the bottom of the feet are nicely detailed. Toe claws are also painted in black on the hind feet. You got some large osteoderms mixed in here and there all over the body. Really like the color scheme on here. You know, it's green, like a couple different shades of green, but just the way it's done, it's very appealing. I feel like green is very overdone for dinosaur figures, but the way David applied this makes it feel like very fresh and appealing looking. And then going down to the tail, some nice scale detail and wash to bring out all that beautiful detail. So yeah, all in all, I think this figure turned out absolutely fantastic looking. And now for articulation, the mouth can close just about that much. I wish there was like some kind of opening underneath this, the top jaw beak, just allow the lower jaw beak to slide into this so the mouth would close flush. That's one of my biggest critiques about the Ceratopsian series. Some figures can do it, some can't. It just all depends on the way they're sculpted. But I would just enjoy a fully closed mouth on these figures. But you know, not really that big of a deal. Mouth could open up pretty far. If you open up too far, you can see the seam, and you kind of break the profile of the sculpt. For the neck joint, you get some upwards and downwards movement and some nice side-to-side movement on that joint. Let's take a look at it from the front. Front legs can move forwards and backwards. They're on a hinge, so you can swing them out if you choose to. You get about 90 degrees of bend at that elbow joint. For that mid-torso joint, you get some upwards and downwards movement and some nice side-to-side movement on that mid joint. For the hips, back legs can move backwards and forwards. You can get a decent bend on that knee joint. All sets of the legs do have an articulation joint on it. And for the tails, you get side to side movement and up and down, and also a little bit of rotation. So yeah, not bad articulation for such a small figure. And now let's take a closer look at the Linheraptor, a nicely sculpted figure. A lot of bright colors on this one. You get some black on the head, a little splash of bright yellow, some white mixing in with that greenish blue, and you do have some brown on top of the head. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Love the bright red eye with the black pupil. I have to say, this whole color scheme on this figure is really well done. You know, I only own 4 of the 1/6 scale Raptors, but I really like this color scheme so much, I'm probably just going to go ahead and get the 1/6 scale version of the Linheraptor. I think it looks really, really nice. Opening up the mouth, you can see some nice bright pink gum tissue. The teeth are nicely painted. They are literally microscopic, and they're all nicely done. You know, Mattel can't even paint teeth straight on their full-size T-Rex figures. So that is truly, you know, some masterwork on here, how to get some of these paint apps on these figures. Going down to the arms, you can see the primary feathers are nicely sculpted. You got some browns and some nice dry brushing to pick out all those nice detail. The primary feathers are nicely done. On the inside of the feathers, you got some browns and washes to bring out all those details. Going down to the body, some nice scale detail. Let's keep my camera in focus on here. Like I said, my camera despises these figures. Get some nice stripe brushing of bright yellow mixed in with that greenish blue. Bright orange for the top of the hips, and you get some nice markings on that plumage on the tail. You get those 3 black lines to break up the profile. You get some more dry brushing and washes on the underside of the tail with all that really nice scale detail. Going down to those hind legs, sickle claw is done in glossy black paint. Feet are gray and they're scaly. You get a little bit of brown up until you get about the ankle joint, and then transitions to that greenish blue color. So yeah, all in all, a really, really nicely done figure. Love the bright, vibrant color scheme on it. Now for articulation, you do get some nice side-to-side movement on the head. Mouth can open up that far, can close completely flush. You don't really get too much up and down movement because the way the neck shroud is sculpted. Arms can swing out. You get about 90 degrees at the arm, and the wrist joint can move. And right when I started moving this, this is the problem I have with my figure. Let me just pop the wrist back on. So right here on the arm, it's insanely thin. I'm trying to get my camera to zoom in on it, and just a slight bit of movement will make it pop off and become very loose. Now you can see right here, it's incredibly thin, and if I turn it this way, you see a little bit of white. That is a stress mark forming on this. It's probably just mismolded at the factory. These figures are so small, so there's very little margin for error during the molding process, so probably just got a bad wing on this one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it. I might either put some clear nail polish to thicken it up, or I might contact David and see about getting a replacement. So going down to the torso, you get some nice up and down movement and side to side on that mid cut for the center of the body. Back legs backwards and forwards. You get some bend at that leg joint, and for the tail, you get up and down and side to side. The 1/6 scales did have a bendy wire, but these are so thin, they put a wire in there, poke right through. So still pretty good articulation for very tiny figures. The joints are very small. I always keep saying it, just be very careful. You don't want to break them. And first up for comparisons, here it is with the Hammond Collection Alan Grant. He's 1/18 scale, so it gives you a good idea how big these dinosaurs were in real life. And next up, here it is with the 1/6 scale Dromaeosaurus. And for shits and giggles, here it is with a juvenile Protoceratops skull cast. And let's do a few feathered Dromaeosaur figures. Here it is with Safari Limited's Deinonychus. Here is their Velociraptor. And I actually forgot to do this one for the last raptor comparison review. Here it is with Rebor's Deinonychus. I think the Rebor Deinonychus looks pretty nice next to these 1/18 scales. Maybe just a little bit too small, but you know what? There's really not much out there for Deinonychus figures in this size range, so I think it works. Let's do a couple of these Ceratopsian figures. Here it is with the awesome looking Utah Ceratops, and here it is with the tiny Zuni Ceratops. Well, not tiny anymore, not since these figures came out. And here it is with the Hammond Collection T-Rex. And lastly, here it is with the rest of the 1/18 figures that came out in this like little microwave calling it. It's nice to have something in between the last wave of the Ceratopsian series and the Tyrannosaurs. The first round of the Tyrannosaurs is supposed to start shipping, I think, sometime in October, and then December the rest of wave 1 will ship. So it's nice to get these in between figures. We have the Fan's Choice Medusa Ceratops, Psittacosaurus, Protoceratops, Velociraptor, and Dromaeosaurus. So yeah, I'm kind of nervous about Cyberzoic. The figures are looking great, and I love the whole, armor concept and the lore behind it, because I'm a huge Dino Riders fan. But man, that series is gonna make me go broke, because I know myself. I hate money. I love dinosaurs. I'm gonna probably buy most of the Cyberzoic and Beast and Mesozoic versions of each figure, and I have no idea where the hell I'm gonna put them, but that's a ways off. That's just me thinking out loud right now. So final thoughts on the Protoceratops and the Linheraptor. Both are great figures, beautifully painted, highly detailed. The articulation is fun. The Protoceratops gets bonus points because it is a species that we never seen made into figure form. Linheraptor, beautifully colored, love it. My only issue with that figure is just that wing joint. It's just very thin. They're small figures. Some, I'm not too upset about it. It's just, a lot goes into molding these figures, and the smaller they are, the more things that can go wrong. So I'll see how I can get that fixed up. But yeah, highly recommend both of them for your dinosaur collection. I'm the huge fan of the Beast and Mesozoic figures. I review a lot of them on the channel. I buy pretty much everything that comes out. And if you want to pick these up for yourself, the links are down below to Creative Beast Studios if you want to get your pre-order in to save a couple bucks before these officially become fully in stock at the warehouse. So that will do it for the review. I got the Mattel Ichthyovenator coming in sometime next week. I got another figure coming in, so I should have a couple new reviews coming up in the next week or so stay tuned for those. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.